Welcome back. As you know, I'm Eli the Computer Guy here for the Daily Blob, and I've got to say, I am just tired. I am just exhausted to the core of my being. You know what I'm saying? That's right. I'm going out there. I'm training for a marathon. I ran 15 miles this morning, and it just took so much out of me. Anyways, so if I get any smart ass comments out there, Eli, you look tired. You don't look with it. Yes, I am tired. I ran 15 miles. Took a lot more out of me than I thought. Last week I did 13. So I did a half marathon. Like a month and a half ago, 2 months ago. Then I did another half marathon, and then I just went out. I ran 13 miles last week. So I figured it's time. It's time to increase my mileage, get up to that 26.5 or whatever. So I went out there to do 15 miles. And the difference between 13 miles and 15 miles, it's actually quite significant. I got done with 13 miles last week, and I was like, oh, it's not bad. That's not, like, I was tired. You know, I had done over 2 hours of exercise. I had woken up in the morning. Don't get me wrong, I was a little tired, but it was very, very doable. I was like, oh, I can do this. Man, I get done with 15 miles. I've been napping today. I've been gulping coffee. I'm just like, I'm just done. Anyways, and this is why I laugh. About the world. I mean, think about that. Think about this for a second, right? If you're in Iran right now, you are being attacked. Right? You're being attacked by Israel. You're being attacked by the United States. The United States has started yet another illegal war. I'm sure people will say, well, it's not actually illegal because if you look at whatever, Congress is supposed to have the power to declare war. Like, look, there are times. If a nuke gets dropped on DC, then yes, should the president be able to respond quickly? Yes, a nuke did not get dropped on DC. One of our soldiers didn't even stub their fucking toe. And anyways, we just decided to start dropping the largest non-nuclear bombs we have. We're very proud of that. We sent our stealth aircraft flying all the way from Missouri, all the way over Iran, to bomb the crap out of Iran. Why? Yeah, I don't know, because a certain other country told us to do it. Anyway, so you're in Iran right now, and you're just worried about your country just being destroyed. Regime change in the Middle East, right? That should make you happy. I mean, look at how well that worked in Iraq. Right? It was only 1 million Iraqis died during that debacle. It's only 1 million, right? Look at Libya. Is Libya out of the civil war yet? We're all proud, right? Obama, Democrat, Nobel Peace Prize winner. Yeah, we were leading from behind. Are we sure he wasn't Kenyan? Some of the shit that he said. You're just looking at him like, are you sure you're an American? Leading from behind. You're comfortable with that one. Anyway, what's comfortable with that one? Anyway, we led from behind in Libya, and that only dragged them into a civil war that may or may not still be going on. I cannot be bothered to keep up with the consequences for our actions. I mean, think about that. How often do you hear about Iraq anymore? How often do you think about Afghanistan? Afghanistan was the longest war in American history. How often do you hear about it anymore? It's like, we're just not going to talk about that. All those times are that we've used our military, and it hasn't exactly, I don't know, but can you say it hasn't gone to plan if there does not seem to be a plan? Anyways, but think about this. You got the Iranians right now, right? Worried about regime and all the things that regime change will entail that none of us give two shits about. Right? You do have the people in Israel. There's missiles flying over Israel right now. He's got the stuff going on in Ukraine. You have all this stuff going on in the world, right? And I'm sitting here in Asheville. And my biggest problem is, training for a marathon. It does just kind of show you the weirdness of the world. Anyways, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Am I gonna sit here? I'm gonna sit here in my basement. I'm gonna cry. I'm cry, bitch, whine, and moan for things that I cannot do a damn thing about. I think about that with this illegal war in Iraq. I'm just gonna keep calling it the illegal war because I want it to be illegal. People are like, no. This should be illegal. This should be illegal. If Congress declares war, right, that is how the process is supposed to work. And then we can argue about that. Should we declare war on Iran? Let's argue. But here's the thing. Congress did not declare war on Iran. We're just bombing the shit out of it. And the funniest part, like Vance comes out, my God, these people. I just don't get it. They're like, we are not at war with Iran. We are not at war with the Iranian people. We are simply bombing nuclear facilities in Iran. You're like, oh, so we're just sending our stealth aircraft, one of the largest air operations apparently in history. We're just conducting that over the skies of Iran. But that's not war against Iran. Like, what? Like, you hear this out of Trump. Iran better not respond to the bombs that we're dropping on it, or this will get worse. It's like, under whose authority will this get worse? Like, hey, dear Trump, what is the plan? What is the all the Trump supporters out there know that 5D chess is not a real thing. Like, oh, haha, he's playing 5D chess and they're playing tic-tac-toe. Yeah, well, here's the thing. You do realize tic-tac-toe is an actual thing? Like, tic-tac-toe exists. 5D chess doesn't. So, what we're seeing right now, Iran attacks U.S. military base in Qatar with missiles. So this is the latest thing. This just came out a couple hours ago. So how are we going to respond to that? So we attacked Iran. Iran is responding. Where does this go? Serious. Can we know what the plan is? Can we know what the win or the loss looks like so that we, as a democratic country, can discuss if this is the dipshit insanity we really want to be involved in? Of course not. Because that's the thing about American presidents. The American presidents, right? They go to war. They go to war with the military that they have. And no plan at all. Absolutely no damn plan at all. So anyways, I don't know. This is kind of just where we're sitting right now as a country. I find this weird, being a kid of the 70s and 80s. Because we used to talk about Vietnam. Here's the interesting thing about the Vietnam War. People discussed the Vietnam War. Most people were anti-Vietnam. There were actually some people that were for Vietnam. And holy hell. Oh. Like, the arguments for Vietnam were so fucked up. But at least there were arguments for Vietnam. You could hear the many arguments against Vietnam, and you could hear a couple of arguments for Vietnam. But there was this whole broad discussion about Vietnam with the population. All right, and one of the big things that people argued about with Vietnam is that it was a police action. That the problem with Vietnam is basically it wound up getting into war, right? So the idea is with war, only Congress can declare war. The president does not have that power, but the president does have power to use military in certain ways. And so essentially the president used the military to get into a police action. One thing led to another, led to 50,000 American troops dying over there in not a real war, basically this police action, right? And so there was a lot of argument, discussion when I was a kid that we should not give our presidents that power because it's kind of dumb and doesn't always go so well, right? And so that was a big thing. Like with Clinton used his power to kill people in a pharmaceutical plant. Remember that plant? Was it Somalia or whatever? Anyways, there was a factory, and we were told it was creating chemical weapons. Close. close. It's actually creating pharmaceuticals. Remember when Clinton murdered those people that were creating pharmaceuticals in Africa? I remember, right? And that was a bad thing. We were like, hey, president should not have that power. Then we get George Bush in. There's this whole thing with George Bush, and it's just this whole, oh, because he got power from Congress to wage the war on terror, and then where did the war on terror end and the war in Iraq begin? Oh, that was all kinds of, I thought we all kind of agreed that was a bad thing too. And then, I don't know, Obama got us leading from behind in Libya, and I kind of thought we all kind of agreed. This is just bad. Notice when I talk about this stuff, whether it's Reagan with the Iran-Contra scandal, whether it's the Vietnam War, whether it's Clinton, whether it's Bush, whether it's Obama, right? Basically, these are just a bad idea all the way around. And yet we keep getting it again and again and again and again and again. Because apparently, as far as I've been able to figure out, once you get to a certain age, Viagra stops working, right? And so apparently, what our political class has realized is that by bombing the shit out of brown people, it gives them a stiffy. And so basically, whenever they need to, go out and show their little lady, some fun for the evening, they go out there and they kill as many brown people as they can possibly find, because that seems to be effective for getting a stiffy. I don't know. I don't know what to do about this. Absolute, abject, bat crap insanity that seems to be progressing, right? And we get these presidents and they come in, right? Obama, Nobel Peace Prize winner. How many brown people did Obama get slaughtered as a Peace Prize winner? Right? You got Trump. He's pulling us out of NATO. His people have spoken. They don't want us in these foreign wars. They don't want us in these interventions. They don't want us to defend Ukraine or anything like that. But sometimes you just got to kill some brown people. That's how it works, right? Literally, that's his big thing, getting us out of NATO and the whole 9 yards. So I don't know. It's like you sit here, I didn't vote for this jackass, but you vote for the people that you think are going to try to get us out of these eternal wars. Kucinich, you probably don't remember Kucinich. During a 2004 election, there was this guy Kucinich. He had been, I think he'd been the Ohio governor. Anyways, he came up with this idea for a Department of Peace, right? We have a State Department and we have the Department of Defense. 2004, he said we should have a cabinet level position of the Department of Peace. And he got laughed the fuck out of politics. And so what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And I think that's the interesting thing to talk about today for this particular video is when you look at the world. Because I hear this from the young people. They're like, Eli, right? The world is ending. Climate change is going to destroy the world. It's like, no, it's not. I mean, it might screw up. The world might be significantly different than it is now in 100 years. It's actually not going to destroy the world. It's kind of fascinating. One of the interesting things is if all the ice caps completely melt. One of the curious things is to realize how much land is still above sea level. I mean, not that I personally want to live in that particular world, but even if they all melt, there will still be plenty of land. Humans will continue to exist. But anyways, you have all these, young people nowadays. Oh, how can I have a kid? How can I continue? How can I do anything? And I think the important thing to understand in life, especially in this modern world, where we have jackasses talking into cameras and you're consuming the stupid shit that we have to say, is that realistically, you can only affect the people within your spheres, right? So basically, there's your sphere. There's your sphere of influence. You can generally affect one layer up, and you can generally affect one layer down. And that's about it, right? When Trump starts an illegal war with Iran with no fucking plan, what does the win look like here? Other than the Ayatollah sucking on his ring, which I don't believe is going to happen. Maybe, I don't know. I don't play 5D chess. Maybe it'll happen. Other than the Ayatollah sucking on his ring and just groveling, right? What does the win look like? Seems like there's a whole litany of options for losses here, right? But the thing is, you can't affect Trump. You can't affect Vance, right? As much as it may laugh about the GOP alpha poodles pissing on themselves, pretending to be real men, the fact of the matter is they do have Secret Service. So if you actually did try to yank on their chain, like somebody should, Secret Service would just shoot your ass. So don't do that. Let me put down the snark for a moment here. Don't physically touch any of the government, or you will be put down like the dog that they're pretending to be. Anyways, the thing is, you can't do a lot about it, right? But the curious thing is that you can help the people that are around you. One of the curious things about having a career as a technology professional is my entire career, I have had people say thank you, right? In the corporate world, that was very obvious. I used to go to offices that hadn't seen a computer person in months, and I would go there. And yes, initially, I'd make everything much worse. My nickname back in the day was CK for computer killer. Yeah, you try to maintain a Windows 95 infrastructure. Anyways, but by the time I was done, the systems were working properly. And from secretaries to CEOs, or the executives there, they would say thank you. Again, when I went into the, being a consultant, people thank me, right? Literally, I would have people, when I had my store with my employees, we used to put up signs, little door hanger signs, great, incredibly inexpensive. Time consuming, but inexpensive way to do advertising was printing your own door hangers. I used to put those up. People would steal other people's door hangers just because they needed computer repair. I'd be like, okay, what's your address or whatever? And then, how do you find out about me? And they'd be like, oh, your door hanger. And I'd be like, oh, that's funny. I didn't think I had put door hangers on your street. And they would say, you didn't. We stole a door hanger from somebody else. It's like, fair enough, it's Baltimore. If the worst thing you're doing is stealing other people's door hangers, we'll call that a win. We'll say that's good. Anyways, right? Thanks. Again, doing education, as I've talked about. People flying in just to thank me. Apparently, I'm Disneyland. I'm the geek Disneyland. Somebody literally drove in from here, going all the way up to somewhere else. And I was like, oh, what else are you going to do in Asheville? The wife literally started laughing. I was like, why are you laughing? And she said, oh, I told my husband we were coming to Asheville, and I asked him what he wanted to do. And he said, meet Eli, the computer guy. Oh, I have such a weird fucking life. You just do not understand how weird my life is sometimes. So, okay, so I'm the new Disneyland, apparently. But anyways, with all of this, what I'll say is that I have supported people to help them make their lives better. I could not stop the dipshittery in Iraq. I'm like, oh, what? Yeah, that's right. Nobody asked me my opinion of debathification. First time I heard that, I was like, oh, that's dumb, right? I could not stop debathification. I could not stop the dipshittery in Iraq. Could not stop the dipshittery in Afghanistan. You know, in Afghanistan, again, this is under Democrats. Under Democrats, when we're pulling out, so the military had gone in and put in all these diesel generators, right? So you have military bases, military posts. They put in diesel generators. And the thing is, they have basically extra electricity. And so local Afghanis would run electricity wires from those generators to create little factories, right? Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that great, right? If Afghanistan is going to have a stable future, right? They need to create an industrial base that has not a lot to do with the poppies and all that kind of stuff. And so these people were using the diesel generators to get electricities, to create small factories, and they were creating the fundamental foundation of what would be required for the industrialization of Afghanistan. Now, don't get me wrong, it's small, but you got to start small to get somewhere else, right? Detroit wasn't always Detroit. Anyways, right. The curious part was, I do believe it was under the Obama administration, they started pulling out the diesel generators. Because after we had spent, I don't know, $1 trillion, or God knows how much money we had spent in Afghanistan, it was really important that we get back our diesel generators, right? The locals were willing to maintain the diesel generators. The locals were willing to pay for the diesel generators. These are just really fucking expensive generators that it would be hard to get back there, even if they had the money to get it. So it's like, you would think, if you were trying to build Afghanistan to be on the path to be a modern civilization, and you had already spent all this money anyway, you might leave the fucking diesel generators to allow them to build for the future. But no, we took back our diesel generator. You like managing a factory. Oh, you like it when your community members are able to come here and they were able to build products in order to help improve the society, and you come up with these systems that you can then grow so that you can be the foundation of the future of Afghanistan. Wow, do you like the idea of being the future of Afghanistan? Poof. Fuck you, brown person. We're taking our diesel generator home. That's not even bullshit. It was widely reported. Wall Street Journal was talking all about that. That was, I don't know, is hilarious. Is a good term. But here's the thing, right? I cannot stop the Nobel Peace Prize winner from taking diesel generators away from Afghanis. I cannot stop the Nobel Peace Prize winner from leading behind to destroy the Libyan society. I cannot stop the Nobel Peace Prize winner from redefining a combatant, right? So there was a problem, right? You had all these drones. You had these drones, and they were shooting missiles halfway around the world, and we were killing too many civilians. This shit's true too. Under Obama, they were killing too many civilians. It was getting out in the news. It was getting out to the American people how many civilians were dying from these Reaper drones, Predator drones. And so you know what Obama did? He redefined the definition of a combatant. And basically, it came out to be any male over 13 years old was a legitimate target. So all of a sudden, we just blew up, 20, 13-year-olds. Well, if they didn't want to get blown up by a Predator drone, they shouldn't have been terrorists. But they weren't. Yes, they were. They were 13 years old and they were male, which means they were old enough to be able to do something with the military. Oh, for the love of God, my country is asked. I don't get my country. We have the Declaration of Independence. We hold these truths to be self-evident. You're not a human being. That's the whole thing. We talk about that like with the founding sins of our country. And here's the deal. The founding sins of our country wouldn't be so bad. I mean, they'd still be bad. Don't get me wrong. Slavery was bad. Don't take that out of context. But they wouldn't be so bad if we didn't keep doing it. Right? When you look at the fact that our founding fathers, who were talking about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, literally owned slaves and had about zero interest in getting rid of them, right? And then you compare that to Bush, 200 years later, again, setting up the circumstances for 1 million Iraqis to die. It doesn't really seem like we've come to terms with the, just the weirdness of our particular system. But anyways, here's the deal. You can't do anything about it, right? You can't stop debathification. You can't stop the Nobel Peace Prize winner doing some very curious things. You can't stop Biden Oh my golly. By leaving Afghanistan. That was what it was. And you can't stop Trump. And you can't stop Trump dropping millions and millions and millions of dollars of bombs. It's amazing how we don't have money for certain things. You know, each one of these bombs, these aren't mother of all bombs. So there's these Moab things that we had. They're saying these are MOPs, some other kind of big bomb. Anyways, the largest bomb in our arsenal. Do you know each one costs approximately $3.5 million to produce? But then if you look at research and development funding and the entire program, because there was a program to build these bombs, and they built a certain number of these bombs. So if you look at the actual price tag per bomb, it is $20 million. Right? When we hear about, oh my God, the United States doesn't have enough money. The reason that we can't send vaccines to Africa is because we're running out of money. All the Republicans agree we're running out of money. And yet we have somewhere between $3.5 to $20 million, however you decide to allocate that, per bomb that gets dropped in Iran. And not only that, but then you have all the stealth bombers that have to fly there. Then you have all the other aircraft, the refueling aircraft and everything. Again, since the start of Israel's war in Iran, how many billions of dollars do you think that has cost the taxpayer? But that's okay. That's okay. Right? Okay? Young Africans getting HIV treatment, well, those welfare queens need to stand on their own. Crap blows up in Middle East, and yeah, what's a few $billion to kill some brownies? But here's the thing: you can't do much about it because all these presidents do it. All the presidents, right? You can sit here and you can vote and you can stream and you can say stop it. Maybe in my grandkids' generation, maybe the kids that I don't have would have kids, and their kids would know a time period when the president would actually have to go through Congress before he starts murdering people. But that's probably not going to happen in my generation. But anyways, one of the things I want you to think about in this world is who can you help? Who can you support? Who can you be kind to? Because I think at the end of the day, that is what is going to push the ball forward. When a majority of Americans treat Middle Easterners as actual human beings, that is when the level of disgrace gets to a high enough level to stop this horse crap. Right? And I think that's one of the big things that we see in our society, and the breakdown in our society is with so many people, if you don't have family, and you don't feel like you have community, and you don't have church, or temple, or synagogue, or whatever else, religion, right? The issue becomes, is you look at this big world where all of this horrific insanity is occurring, and there's nothing you can do about it. And there is literally nothing you can do about it. Again, you can go out, you can protest No King's Day. Again, on your own time. I would argue, don't do it on the company time. Don't put apartheid in your auto signature. But when you're off the company time, right? I think one of the big things to be thinking about, though, is like, who can you help, right? There's food banks, and there's soup kitchens, and there's homeless shelters, and there's Habitat for Humanity. And there are so many places where you can actually go out, and you can't change the world. You are not going to change the world. We cannot all be Craig Newmark. Craig Newmark of Craigslist changed the world. And nobody ever talks about him, which is hilarious, right? You probably will never be a Craig Newmark. But you can go out And you can change individual people's lives. You can help individual people try to push their ball forward and make the world better in that particular respect. And so I think that's the kind of thing to be thinking about right now with the insanity of my country, right? You know, whether it's the tariffs, it's all this stuff. And no, what is the plan? I don't even know what plan we're arguing about. And I think one of the big things with this is to start looking at your neighbors, start looking at your community, and start not just asking, but doing things to make people's lives better. What I would ask you, when was the last time somebody genuinely said thank you to you? Right? Because we talk about the value. Like, so many people feel valueless, right? I have no value in this world. And the thing that I'll tell you that other people probably won't is you're probably correct. You're probably overestimating your value. And I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm saying that to be true, right? If in your day-to-day life, people aren't even saying thank you, that you have in some minuscule way improved their life to such a degree that they just simply say thanks, then you are not really providing a value for the world. And so when you feel like you're worthless, fair enough. And so when you feel like you're worthless and you're not getting thanks and you're saying what you say is the world burning, it's not the world burning. It's certain portions of the world burning. Certain portions. Right? I think that's what just makes so many people, again, question why they should keep going on this planet. And my argument is to go out there and help people and support people. I talk about this as being a technology professional, right? Your job as a technology professional is to solve problems with technology. Find problems to solve and solve them with technology. And it is curious, it's horrifying how many people actually think that is a debatable concept. Right? Oh, Eli, you don't understand the modern world of technology, being a technology professional. But that's the thing. One of the reasons I feel comfortable with my career is because throughout it, I know for a fact that I've helped people. And so I think that's the thing to think about and the lesson to think about as this insanity continues, is to look around and ask yourself, in this time of insanity, who have you actually helped? Not who have you virtue signaled, not what virtues you've signaled, not that. Not how much have you screamed on the social media sites, right? Though interactions are valuable on YouTube, so put all your interactions below. Tell me how stupid I am below. But have you actually gone out and helped people? Whose life is better today than it was yesterday because of the actions that you've taken? I talk about this whole idea with, was it MGTOW? Manosphere, right? Manosphere is weird. Manosphere is LARPing. LARPing as a man, live action role playing. I remember when LARPing was new. Right, most of the manospheres is LARPing. It's what the Republicans in Congress are doing right now. They're LARPing to be men. But there's this idea of men going their own way. One of the things that I argue is you can't. If you want to go your own way, that's your business. But that's not a man, right? Men are cornerstones to society, and women, but I'm a man, so I'm only going to talk about men here. Men are cornerstones to society, right? Boys consume more from society than they provide to society, right? Through food, through education, through, right? All that kind of stuff. They consume more than they provide. Men provide more than they consume. right? And you need that in order to keep the civilization going forward so that there is enough for the next generation, for the weak, for the X, Y, or Z. And so that's what I have you think about right now. Because yeah, where is this illegal war going to go? Who the hell knows? What is the plan? Who the hell knows? And as I say this, it's like, oh, that's Trump derangement. No, it's Trump derangement syndrome and Obama derangement syndrome and fucking and Bush derangement syndrome and Clinton derangement syndrome and Reagan derangement syndrome. They all, right? They think the military is their plaything. So anyways, I don't know. That's all I gotta say. That's all I've gotta say. And don't worry, I'm not depressed. I'm just tired. Because my life is hard. You don't know what it's like to live my life. You don't know what it's like to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and then run 15 miles. My life is hard. Anyways, it is that weird world. It is that weird, like, you're sitting there doing your life as other people's entire existences go up in flame. It's a hell of a thing, but it's also the truth. Anywho, see y'all later.